Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the secrets hidden within corporate filings. Today, we're diving into a report from Hyatt Hotels Corporation that has some interesting insights into their share movements. Get ready because it looks like some folks might be getting ready to sell a whole lot of stock. Let's jump right into what Hyatt is telling us. This isn't a full financial report in the way we usually see it, but it is about who can sell what and when. Think of it as an update on when certain people or groups are allowed to cash in their chips. First off, we see that Hyatt Hotels Corporation is filing this report on the 5th of November, 2025. This is important because many of the details in this filing revolve around this specific date. This particular report is a Form 8K, which is essentially a way for companies to announce major events that shareholders should know about, and they need to file it pretty quickly after the event happens. The company is doing this under specific rules that govern how public companies report information, making sure everything is transparent. We also see that Hyatt Hotels Corporation is registered in Delaware. This is a common state for corporations to incorporate in because of its business-friendly laws. This number 001-34521 is their commission file number. It's like their unique identifier with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. And this one, 20 to 1,480,589, is their IRS employer identification number. It is their tax ID, basically. Their main offices are located in Chicago, Illinois, at 150 North Riverside Plaza. The zip code is 60,606. If you needed to call them back in 2025, their main number was 312-750-1234. Now let's talk about what is actually being traded. Hyatt's class of common stock with a par value of 1 cent is listed on the New York Stock Exchange. The ticker symbol for this stock is H. You'll see this symbol if you look up Hyatt Hotels on any stock market tracker. And yes, it trades on the big board, the New York Stock Exchange. This is where things get potentially interesting. Item 7.01 is generally for Regulation FD disclosures. Regulation FD stands for Fair Disclosure, and it's there to ensure that all investors get important non-public information at the same time. So this report refers back to their 2024 annual report, their 10K. It mentions that some shares of their Class A and Class B common stock have been under what are called lockup restrictions. Imagine these like a temporary hold or a waiting period before these shares can be sold. These restrictions come from a few different agreements, like the Global Hyatt Agreement, the Foreign Global Hyatt Agreement, and the 2007 Stockholders Agreement. Now, the really key part of this filing comes next. These agreements, specifically the Global and Foreign Global Hyatt Agreements, put limits on how many shares Pritzker family stockholders can sell within certain 12-month periods. And these periods start on the 5th of November every year. Here is the big number, folks, for the 12-month period starting the 5th of November 2025 and ending the 4th of November 2026. Approximately 14.9 million shares from the Pritzker family stockholders will become available for sale. That is a significant chunk of stock. This is assuming these restrictions don't change and that the family members don't just move shares around amongst themselves in a way that doesn't affect the total amount. On top of that, there are another roughly 2.27 million shares of Class B stock held by other people involved in the 2007 Stockholders Agreement. These shares can be sold anytime as long as they follow the rules, and Hyatt might have a right to buy them first before they go to other buyers. And as if that wasn't enough, there are another 3,252 shares that have no lockup restrictions at all. They can be sold pretty much any time following standard legal procedures. If you want to get really deep into the weeds about the exact rules of these agreements, the company points you back to their 2024 annual report. They've broken down the specifics of the Global Hyatt Agreement, the Foreign Global Hyatt Agreement, and the 2007 Stockholders Agreement in greater detail there in the section about their business and stockholder agreements. It's also important to note what these numbers don't include. They don't count any shares that might come from employee stock plans, like the long-term incentive plan, employee stock purchase plan, deferred compensation plan, or the retirement plan. So the total number of shares potentially hitting the market could be even higher. Now, this next bit is a bit of legal housekeeping. Hyatt is saying that the information in this specific part of the Form 8K, the Regulation FD disclosure, isn't considered officially filed under certain sections of the law. This means they're not taking on the same level of liability for it as they would for other types of official filings. It's important technically, but for us decoding the story, it means this is more of a heads up than a formal ironclad statement of fact that carries the same legal weight as other parts of their SEC filings. This is a standard section in many SEC filings. When companies talk about forward-looking statements, They are essentially saying, these are our hopes and expectations for the future, but things might not turn out exactly as we predict. They're telling us that anything in this report that isn't about past events is a prediction about the future. They use these phrases like may, could, expect, anticipate to signal these are not guarantees. They also remind us that their actual results could be very different from these predictions because of various risks that are hard to predict. The key takeaway here is to be cautious with any statements that predict future performance. And finally, we reach the signatures. This is where the company officially signs off on the document. The company making the filing is, of course, Hyatt Hotels Corporation. The report itself is dated the 7th of November, 2025. This is just a couple of days after the earliest event reported, and it is being signed off by Margaret C. Egan, who holds a pretty important role. Her name is Margaret C. Egan. She is the Executive Vice President, General Counsel, and Secretary of the company. This means she has a high-ranking legal officer, and her signature lends official weight to this filing. Now, let's talk about what this all means. The big story here is that a large number of shares, over 14 million, are becoming eligible for sale by a key group of shareholders, the Pritzker family, in the coming year. This is a significant volume of stock. When a large block of shares becomes available, it can potentially put downward pressure on the stock price. If many people are trying to sell at once, and there aren't enough buyers, prices tend to fall. This isn't guaranteed, of course. The company's performance, market conditions, and investor sentiment all play a role, but it is a factor that investors definitely need to be aware of. Think about it like this. Imagine a popular concert. If suddenly a whole section of seats that was previously restricted becomes available all at once, there could be a rush. If there are more people wanting to sell those tickets than buy them, the prices might drop. The fact that these restrictions are tied to very specific dates, like the 5th of November each year, signals a structured plan for potential selling by these major shareholders. This report serves as a public announcement informing the market about this upcoming availability. This doesn't necessarily mean the Pritzker family will sell all those shares or sell them quickly. They are long-term stakeholders, and their decisions will depend on many factors. However, the market will certainly be watching. It is a good reminder that even for well-established companies, ownership structures and potential share availability can create significant dynamics in the stock market. Investors will be weighing this information against the company's operational performance and future growth prospects. Alright, that is our breakdown of this Hyatt Hotels Corporation filing. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Do you think this availability of shares will impact the stock price significantly? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives into corporate filings. Don't forget to check out the Discord community linked in the description for more discussions and insights. Thanks for watching. See you next time.